Hey everybody, it's Peter, and I'm going to do the spoiler review of Star Trek Discovery's Episode 10, Despite Yourself. So, hopefully, if you've watched it, you've seen it. I've seen it at least 3 times. I watched it twice last night, and then I watched it again on space.ca. So, we were last left, you remember Episode 9, they did the 130 something jump so they could find out how the Klingon cloaks work, getting all the information. So we're left with them hanging in space, we don't know where. So we pick up from that point on. What we're finding out is, long story short, it's basically is Mirror Mirror. This is basically a combination of original series Mirror Mirror, because we've got the two, they do explain that the two ships do transpose. So the swap has been made, just like in the original. There's also a nod to the USS Defiant, from the Tholian web, because they did the interphase thing. And then if you ever saw Enterprise with Bakula, 4th season, when they did the two-parter mirror universe called In a Mirror Darkly, and they found out that the Tholians were holding onto a ship, which happens to be the Defiant from the Tholian web episode. That was a cool tie-in, and also to go back to doing a Mirror Universe episode. A lot better what I remember of the DS9 Mirror episodes, because they were all kind of I always hate when people try to do mirror universes, especially when you got bad actors, and everybody's like, "Oh yes, we're evil, we're evil." And people when they're evil, I always say, you want to see an evil person? Christoph Waltz in Glorious Bastards. First time I saw the man, that's how you play evil, and that's some of the things that sort of were kind of funny when we found out that actually Tilly is the captain of the Discovery, with all her nicknames, and then when she finally gets in the character and some of the dialogue she does, that's kind of funny. This episode won me over again. This is up there with the Captain Mudd episode, episode 7, Magic Makes the Man Go Cuckoo, and episode 9, that was pretty good. Yeah, overall, this was a really good episode. I did think of today some flaws with it, things like with the Mirror Universe uniforms. How do we go from that into mirror uniforms? And I guess here they're just basically doing the jumpsuits, but it looks like everybody's still wearing the Discovery tracksuits, but they wear armor on top. And originally I kind of liked it, and then the more I thought about it, of course, canon brain and my normal thought process sort of kicked in, and it's like, okay, but kind of overkill. So basically the whole episode is, we're stuck in a mirror universe. What do we do? What do we find out? How do we solve this problem? How do we get out of here? So once they kind of figure out, like, hey, something's wrong, we're in this, wreckage field, and a Vulcan ship shows up, starts shooting at them. Okay, why are the Vulcans shooting at us? And then it's like, okay, we've got Klingon ships in the wreckage, but wait a minute, we're finding Vulcan and Andorian bodies in the wreckage on Klingon ships. What's up with that? After doing a quick scan of the wreckage field, they find like data core in one of the Klingon raiders. We'll go rescue that. Send Tyler out in a worker bee unit, which we haven't seen since Star Trek The Motion Picture. So during this episode 2, we're finding out more about Tyler. Tyler is still tripping out. He tripped out in the previous episode. He's really tripping out. And the way it first comes across is like, oh, this is a PTSD thing. And it's like, no. Now we're getting into the fan theories of last year, which is basically, oh, Vaque is Tyler, Tyler is Vaque. And it's like, no, it's 2 different actors. But the more I thought about today, too, is just like, hang on a second. If you really want to pull the wool over the fans' eyes, you're not going to have the same actor that played Vaque. You're going to get somebody else to play Tyler, because if you got the same actor to play Vaque and just take off the Klingon makeup and say like, no, this is actually Ash Tyler, everybody's going to go like, wait a minute, because in the credits it'll be that actor's name, and that won't make any sense. So it's just like, no. So you hire another actor. And now we're finding out as the episode goes on, Tyler's really tripping out. He confronts Terrell. Terrell's still in the brig. He confronts her. She basically says, well, lower the force field on my cell and I will tell you a secret. He's like, you're screwing with, what did you do with me at the torture? Ah. And then once the force field is down, she starts doing the Klingon prayer, which is about to be, all hail Kalis. And it's like, there's an old Charles Bronson movie called Telephone where you say the magic words many miles before we sleep. That's the trigger. So she's trying to do the Klingon prayer to trigger Tyler to become Vaque too. So I think the cat's out of the bag. Tyler is Vaque. But he doesn't succumb to the trigger words. So he's like, still flips out, and she's like, what's your name? The other weird thing is, too, again, we're talking about the Klingon, but the funny thing is, the actor who plays Tyler, he has no makeup on, but he's still talking like this, like he has marbles and cotton in his mouth. So they're establishing that Klingon is spoken like this. And I totally miss, TNG movie Klingon, or even motion picture Klingon, up until Discovery Klingon. I prefer bach, bach, chala, words that are guttural, that come out. You can understand them, not like, it sounds like Tom Hardy as Bane. Batman, I know who you are. It's like, what? What? Can't understand what you're saying. Take the mask off. That's my cannon chip kicking in again. Yeah, so that's going on. So again, okay, is the PTSD, is the torture? No. Tyler goes to Dr. Culber and is like, Doc, what's going on? Is the torture kicking in? My PTSD, what's going on? So eventually they do a full body scan, and we come back to it a bit later, and then Tyler says, yeah, I got to go on this mission. We finally got a plan of what we're going to do. We got to steal a ship and all this other stuff, and I got to go hang out with Burnham. Can you help me out, Doc? Colbert basically shows him the scans and just like, yeah, something happened to you. You've been physically altered. Your bones have been broken. Your organs have been mashed around. And remember we talked about like maybe something's wrong with your brain engrams. They're not working right. And it says, well, actually, it looks more like somebody has superimposed a different personality on top of that. So the assumption would be that actually it is Vok, and they put a Tyler persona on top of that. And just as he's talking, he's like, Doc, I gotta go. No, I gotta ground. She's like, no, I gotta go on a mission. And then you hear this little Klingon voice whisper in his ear, and he jumps the doctor and like breaks his neck. And that was a funny thing because the actor Cruz, he was on After Trek, and then Matt Moore asked him too, like, how's it feel to get a script saying, by the way, you're dead? And today too, on Facebook threads, it was sort of like, oh, what's going on now? What's the survivability rate in Discovery? And I used to joke, is like, yeah, it's not red shirts anymore. Now it's shuttle pilots, because we lost 2 shuttle pilots in the first couple of episodes. And then we lost the security chief. Now we've lost the doctor. And I think the show just like, doesn't matter who the heck you are. You could be numbered and you could be off the show. We don't know. It just, they're not picking on anybody in particular. It's just like, yeah, we'll get rid of that one, and maybe we'll get rid of that character. But you would think like, oh, they're only going to be lasting for as long. And I thought too, because we've got the relationship with him and Stamets, why get rid of him? So that's one of the stories that are going on. And then the other side story is going, okay, where are we? We're in a mirror universe. It's the Terran Empire. Basically, they're xenophobes. They're the ultimate racist rednecks. They don't like anybody in the Terran Empire. So if you're not a human, you're gone, or you're dead, or agony booth, whatever. We don't care for you. You die. We're subjugating you. So in this part of the mirror universe where they are now, the rebels are full going. So I'm assuming that's carrying on still from the Enterprise version of the mirror universe, where, yeah, we still got the Vulcans, the Andorians, and anybody else who's not a human is fighting the Terran Empire. But okay, these guys are bastards. They hate everybody. They got a call to the bridge. The other Empire ships is flying around. We want to talk to you guys. And they're mean bastards too, because if you don't answer a hail in like, I think in 4 or 5 tries, or actually no, I think it was like 4 tries, you will be shot. That's when it sort of got kind of funny too, where, and I said, okay, answer that hail. And Lorca's about to go, hi, how you doing? And Burnham jumps in, and then Michael says, like, no, belay that. Says, why? You're not the captain. I don't have time to explain, but actually it's her, Captain Tilly. And then Lorca, I saw her like, what? Captain? No. So they throw her into the cabin chair, audio only, and she's all like, he's just saying, like, remember, short answers. And she's like, Captain, I'm not one for short answers, but I'll try my best and answer. And she's just like, what the hell? Hello, yeah, what the heck? What the hell? Hold your horses! Don't go shooting us. What's going on? And we're having reactor leak. We're having a malfunction, but we're locking it down. How are you? Kind of thing. she doesn't know what else to say other than, why isn't your screen up? Why are you audio? Why can't we see a visual? My chief engineer will answer that question. And she sort of, Lorca, come here, answer this. And then they put it on mute for a quick second, and Burnham goes like, okay, Captain, we don't know who or what you are, or what your place is in the mirror universe. Maybe want to disguise your voice, unmute. And then he's like, hi, it's the chief engineer here. Yeah, we got a bit of a problem with the video receptors in our starboard nacelle, but yeah, it's all going to be tickety-boo in a moment. We're all doing fine. How are you? So, and everybody said, yeah, there's a Scotty nod right there. That was kind of funny. And then after they get that sorted out, then Lorca gives Saru the order to basically, okay, we got to survive in this universe. We're going to trick out the ship. Everything is going to be ISS. Uniform change the badges, change everything. I guess there was that much information in the data core. So everybody does a costume change. The entire bridge crew is all decked out. It's basically the same uniform, just with, I think the lower ranks have sort of like a side, like a leather sort of, breastplate kind of idea that just hangs over. Everybody carries a dagger and a phaser. And if you're a captain, well, you basically wear this, gold armor with a fancy gold holster. When I first saw it, yeah, that looks kind of cool. And then after I thought, like, yeah, it's a little ostentatious. And it's not, again, impractical armor for there's a cool fight scene later on, which I'll get to in a sec. So they find out, okay, there is a Defiant here, which is, like I said, mentioned in A Mirror Darkly. They find out, yeah, there's a Defiant here. The Defiant actually came across, but they don't explain how. But I mean, if you are a true Trek fan, we all know the backstory. So the plan is, Burnham is supposedly dead, and we find out that Lorca is actually rebel. He was captain of his previous ship. So Burnham was actually sent out by the Emperor, and we don't know who this Emperor is. I have a theory, and I don't know if anyone's supporting. Everybody's like, oh, it's going to be Sato, who is played by Linda Park. But I Googled her, and on IMDb, she's working her ass off right now. She's on SEAL Team. She's been doing a few cop shows. She's been working on TV shows. So I don't think they're going to pull her back. And what I'm getting tired of, too, is like, oh, why can't we grab the characters from the other franchises and bring them over here? Says, why? So my theory is it's Giorgio. It's got to be, because we're working with, because she hasn't been around for a while, and that's a nice way to bring her back to the series, right? Make her the Emperor. She used to be maybe a captain and make her way up, and that's how Burnham, maybe, because they never explained how Burnham became captain of the Shenzhou. The Shenzhou's still around, and I didn't know that until I was watching After Trek, that the now captain of the Shenzhou, before they get a hold of it, was the character's name was Connor. He was actually the ensign that we saw in the pilot when Burnham was in the brig and the ship's falling apart, and he was bleeding and stunned, and instead of going to sick bay, he was the one talking. He was like, oh, I don't know what's going on here, and we're being attacked. We don't fight. And then they get hit again, and he gets sucked out into space. So that was kind of the joke on After Trek, that actually he's been on the show twice so far, and both times he got killed. They get a hold of Shenzhou. They say, hey, Captain, by the way, you're not captain anymore. Your old captain, Captain Burnham, actually found Lorca. And, they got the whole plot of, okay, we're going to get to the Shenzhou, get some files. We're going to find out what the Defiant is, get the Defiant logs. How did the Defiant, come into the mirror space? And maybe we can use that as an escape room to go back to our actual home time. People have commented online, too, and I'm finding this, too. This episode is finally where it should be, too. It actually has humor for a change, especially when Tilly is trying to be evil Tilly. That's hilarious, because she's just like, if I was your captain, I'd rip out your tongue and make your tongue lick my boots. It says asshole. Let's give this asshole something to think about. Oh, too much? And Lorca's like, no, that's cool. It's cool here. So then they get the Shenzhou to come back. Lorca says, I've got a prisoner. We're going to bring Lorca to justice. And so she gets aboard the Shenzhou, meets up with Connor and his gang. She gets the ship back. She's now the captain again. But Connor thinks like, oh, you know what? The Emperor made me captain after we thought we lost you. And he goes into a bit of a sob story. And then he's like, while they're talking the turbolift going up to the bridge, he's like, yeah, you know what? But I figured another way. The crew still didn't like me, though, because even though the Emperor made me captain, I don't think the crew was happy with beautifully choreographed fight scene. Yeah, and the actor said, too, on After Trek that actually that was a day shoot. Because, you got 4 or 5 angles going, at the top angle, at side angles, the cameraman right in there with them. But that was nice. I was like, bang, 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 fight, 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 and she kills Connor, and then she comes on, and everybody does a nice golf clap. It was really cool too to see. I forgot to look her up, but the redheaded helmsman. Again, I will put her up on the screen. Twice she was actually in the captain's chair, call it, when they were trying to figure out what was going on, and everybody was. I think they were in engineering when they were going over the data core, and the captain, everybody, and Tyler, and the whole gang was there. And then, I got a page, Captain's the bridge. It was her sitting in the captain's chair, is temporarily in command. So I guess after Saru, she's the next one to sit in the big chair when no one else is around. So that was kind of a neat thing. And same thing on the Shenzhou in the Mirror Universe, after Michael killed Connor, and he slumps to as soon as the bridge door opens, he's like, bonk. And everybody's just like, oh, yeah, Captain Burnham's back, yeah, And she stands up and, Captain, your chair. Oh, and the other cool thing about this, too, because if you ever see the Enterprise episode, and I guess it's still because in Mirror Mirror, everybody went like, it was almost like the Hail Caesar thing, but I think some people may take this as a partial, Nazi salute. But, I mean, for that, they wanted to show, like, but to me, that was more like, I'm not sure how the Romans used to look. I know sometimes the Romans would salute like this, and sometimes they go like, Hail Caesar. So I think they did kind of that. But when you watch the Enterprise episode in A Mirror Darkly, they were all like, bonk, bonk. Because I guess 20 years ago, people were still sensitive about, okay, we're not going to do that might be construed as a Nazi salute. In this episode, they actually said, no, we're going to stay with canon on that. Oh, yeah, and then they take Lorca to the brig before the big fight in the elevator. The brig is basically a whole bunch of agony booths. If you remember, we saw that in Enterprise and Chekhov in the original episode. These agony booths are more mean because everybody's yelling and screaming. There's, lightning going on. Everybody's like, ah! Really yelling and screaming. I had to turn the volume down. I was like, okay, we get it. It's an agony booth. And they leave Lorca there, but Burnham says, like, nobody gets to touch him except for me, and if I'm going to kill him, it's going to be me. They don't say where they're going to, I don't know if they're going to go find the Defiant or just trying to find the files on the Defiant. Flying along, and then after the end of a hard day of being captain and, having to kill people, Burnham finally heads back to her quarters. And to her surprise, there's Tyler. Actually, a nice bit about the relationship as well, too, with Tyler and Michael, because there's a couple of times, too, where he was sitting in the mess hall before the big plan was put into action, and he said, yeah, I saw Laurel, and I'm having flashbacks again, and they're like, okay, I'm here for you kind of thing. So that was kind of cool. The now captain's quarters for Burnham. Tyler there said, well, I used to be the security chief. There's the exact same codes everywhere. And they just start talking again about, like, did you find the plans? Like, no, because Burnham's like, I'm being followed by everybody. I got an escort. There's no way I could just sneak off and, hey, can I find the plans for the Defiant? And then they sort of mellow out. She takes off her gear because it's been a long day but everybody looking after, making sure also nobody stabs her in the back either. Again, it's a bit of a rapport going on with them. Tyler says, hey, I got your back, don't you worry. And Michael is still not great at, emulating emotions off, but sort of like, right back at you. And we do cut back to the brig, and we actually find Lorca in an agony booth, but I don't remember anybody giving the order. He's in there, and he's like, nah! He's not having fun, and we leave the episode there. I missed a couple of things, just to go back a bit. Stamets is in sickbay the whole time. He's freaking out. And everybody thought because his eyes glazed over in white, he's being like Gary Mitchell in original series Where No Man's Gone Before with the special powers. I think maybe when his eyes glaze over, he's in contact with the mushroom verse, because a couple of times there's an outbreak on, don't go in the palace. He's going on about a palace or something. So I don't know if it's about the palace of the Emperor. We don't know. And twice, which was kind of a neat hint about the Tyler Vaque theory, which we now know is true. He said one time to Culber, the enemy is near. And when he says that just as Tyler comes into sick bay. So there's one hint. And then he says it again right after Tyler kills Culbert. Confirmations right there that and because of the medical scan, like I said earlier, about like he's been altered. So yeah. But again, we'll have to see how it goes if it plays out. But looks like a lot of the fan theories, because that also came up on After Trek too. They were saying like, "Oh, what about all these fan theories?" And they were talking to the people from the show, the writers, and there's like, "Yeah, pretty smart these fans, huh?" Really good episode. I would definitely watch it, a few more times. Like so, again, what did you guys? Did you watch the episode? Have you watched it a bunch of times? Would you watch it again? What did you think? Remember, leave your comments down below. Like, dislike my video. Don't forget, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, because we're back to doing a lot of TV shows now. So if you want to keep up with me and what I do, and as always, be seeing you.